United Bible class.
Yes, sir. We got a lot of work to do, man.
Man, yes. Like you said, the harvest is plentiful.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Is Waller back over there? What did he do? Go over and went to sleep?
Oh, man, my fault. I'm finna take it with me.
You got dressed mighty quickly.
I forgot I had it on.
It is right.
Okay, Brother Waller, you want to come on around?
Yes, I can. I just want to make sure.
We want to do what we want to call this ministry in the streets. What we want to call this?
Yes, sir. Pleasure. Always good to see you.
The same thing.
Pastor Walker,
Yes, sir.
God's will to see United Bible class.
Brother Waller, come on over and have a seat here.
Okay. Thanks again for
Good.
having me over here.
And I tell you, why don't you take that book, Brother Waller, and give it to him, and he might be able to get a shot of it. And you don't have to,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's better. Because I can give.
Are you promoting the book?
Well, yes,
Yeah.
I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me get in here. Okay.
Okay.
Let me see.
Bringing hope.
Count to 10? 1, 2, 3,
Bringing hopes to the
4,
street.
Yeah,
5,
bringing hope to the
6,
streets.
7,
Bringing
8,
hope.
9, 10.
Do it again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Again.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Let me scoot it up.
Might be able, yeah. Can you push you up?
Okay.
I think the chair has something that allows to give or something like that.
On his- Yeah, it's something over here. I don't know, but my man probably can.
And you can tighten it so it won't move.
Yeah. My man, let him. You can handle. You can.
Yeah.
No, he's.
It looks like it's kind of back.
If you want to bring it up a little bit.
Like it's back a little bit this way instead of up. Even with us.
Do it. Oh, you can bring the seat up.
Okay, let me stand up. Okay.
All right, let's try it now.
Let's try it now.
But his weight, I think his weight would push it on down even.
No, I'm talking about for
Back as far as.
Back there.
No, it needs to right so I
Oh.
can get him in the shot.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm back again. Here I go, brother. Let me see if I can put my feet. Is there anything that can let down here? I'm guessing. I'm all right. So I can turn this way?
Yeah, you want to sort of, could you move it back forward?
The back part?
Yeah, back
I'll make it work though. I can sit up if I have to.
Yeah, like
I can sit up like this if I have to. Yeah.
Have your book
Now,
here,
Rick
so
Waller,
camera
is that
3.
right?
Yeah, Ricky.
Ricky.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Ricky Waller.
You got a book that you presented to us last time.
I did. Yeah, that book is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we want to call this, according to Pastor Walker, we want to call this Bringing Hope from the Streets.
Bringing hope to the streets. To the streets. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is bringing hope to the streets. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about some of the activities in street ministering, Pastor Kay Walker and Rick Waller, two individuals who have quite a bit of information in reference to what is going on in the streets today. And Pastor Walker, I think that you came with other individuals, and we've had an opportunity to talk about some of the activities that you've been involved in the streets, as well as Rick Waller. We've had Mr. Waller on here before, but let's have the two of you. For those individuals who might not know either you or Mr. Waller, to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of your experiences. And you should take about 3 minutes, Pastor Walker, to talk about some of your background, education, and experiences. And after that, Waller will take a couple of minutes to talk about his background, education, and the book, I think, that he has with him. And then we'll be out of that first segment, and then we'll go into that 8-minute and next 10-minute segment. But first, let's start with you, Pastor Walker.
Okay, well, once again, Dr. Haney, good morning, and thank you for allowing us opportunity to be on your show. I'm Pastor Kelvin L. Walker, Associate Pastor, Fairfield Missionary Baptist Church, under the leadership of my senior pastor, Howard E. Jones, Jr. Born and raised here in Nashville, Tennessee, two good parents that raised me right, but I went wrong. But at the same time, you know, I did get the teaching, I did get to understand, I got the knowledge. I got kicked out of the public school system, you know, around the beginning of my 10th grade year. I was kicked out. I wasn't a desirable character during that period of time in my life. Ended up in the United States Navy as a result of being involved in a shooting where I had shot someone, and the judge sent me to the military as opposed to sending me to reform school at the time. And of course, I got in there and just dealing, using drugs and everything like that. Got out of there and ended up incarcerated in the state prison system and everything. Had some college studies at Tennessee State University during that period of time after my release from the Navy. Between being released from the Navy and being incarcerated, I did do some studies at Tennessee State University. While incarcerated, I did some study with the Trevecca East Campus Prison Program as well, trying to major in business and stuff like that, and some theological stuff I studied in there as well. But I got out on reform and continued in my criminal lifestyle and stuff. And back in 1986, God stepped in my life, intervened, pulled me out of that, called me in the ministry, and that's what I've been doing for the last almost 33 years now. It brings me to this stage right now, Dr. Haney.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine, Waller, you can say about the same thing in reference to why you're here this morning, bringing ministry to the streets. Let's talk about how you became who you are today, Pastor Waller.
Thank you, Dr. Haney, for allowing me to be here. I want to thank my partner, Pastor Kevin L. Walker, for inviting me to come. My background is that I grew up in Preston Taylor Projects in West Nashville. Went to Moses McKissick, very innocent. And by the time I ended up at Washington Junior High, the schools became integrated. I was in the 7th grade. I was transferred to W.A. Bass, and I got caught up into the drug game. And I was a great basketball player, according to what people would say. And then I ended up going to Cone High School, as far as I went. And while I was there, I was deep into the streets. I became the supplier of my community by the time I was in high school. And so what happened was I quit school, and the gym teacher would see whoever could play whatever type of sports. And I didn't know he was probably watching me, and all of a sudden, I'm not in school anymore. I believe he probably went to the principal and whoever he had to go to say, you need to get that boy back in school. So to make a long story short, I ended up going back to school, and I played basketball for them on up until the 12th grade, and I didn't go no further. And I was educated in the streets. I was taught well what it's like to be in bondage. And that was because of the wicked schemes of the enemy and how he captured my mind and taught me how to do his will. And so after I went through that process, I know now that what he meant for bad, God can get some good out of it. And that's why I'm here to talk about how I was released from the bondage that controlled my life for so many years.
Mm-hmm. And in other words, Pastor Walker, I think I could say this in reference to your story as well as Waller's story. God is good.
Yes.
And
Yes,
he will do some wonderful things.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that I might not have been in the streets, quote, as such, but I know what God can do, and I know that he